Wait, what? I don't bloody know.
Employee of the month, Carlita Mendez. What a joke. It's that obnoxious nurse. Rows and columns. A computer.
What am I?
Nothing. Employee. A calendar. Smoking allowed. A calendar from night. Rows and columns. Nothing.
No way. I use my brain, boys and girls. C. Mendez Otorgator? I feel like that's a Spanish thing. C. Mendez Otorgator. Oh my gosh, don't tell me I already forgot. Okay, cool. Oof, Yay! Referral from Dr. Okay. Successful invasive heart surgery and was transferred to this facility at its own request. The initial prognosis looks good and the patient is likely to make a full recovery in 6 to 8 weeks. Room 6B, status stable. Okay, so let's get on board here, boys and girls.
It's all right, Claude. Understood, sir. So,
Wait, what?
you managed to find me.
I did.
Well, let's get this over with then. How do you want your pictures? Shall I get some tubes to fill my face with? Will that suffice for your front page?
I'm no journalist. Well, not yet anyway.
Ah, she's but a cub. So, you're hoping for your big break.
Nope.
Surely this must be worth an internship in one of the big papers. Do you want me to call Thompson at the Times and get it over with? I still play golf with him every once in a while.
You're assuming a lot, Mr. Wade.
Guilty as charged. It's a stance I find remarkably effective for a man with little time and a tendency to be correct.
You might want to rethink that attitude. I have a history of surprising people.
Is that so? Very well. I'll indulge you for now. Who are you then?
I'm Kathy Rain. Joseph was my grandfather.
Now I remember. You were at the funeral.
I was.
You were late.
I needed my morning smoke. Besides, it's not like Grandpa was going anywhere.
Cat.
Oh, just look at her, Claude. She's absolutely fearless. That's Joseph's blood running through her veins.
She certainly has a smart mouth, sir.
I must say, you have me intrigued, Kathy. What can this old man help you with?
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in 81?
I wish I did, Kathy. You must know I did everything in my power to help. How do you think Mary Elizabeth could afford all that expensive treatment? MRIs, neurologists, say what you will about Joseph. But he was never rich.
Strange. Grandma never mentioned that to me.
She's just too proud. At first she refused. She was convinced that I had an agenda, that there were strings attached.
And were there?
Don't be silly. Despite all that had happened, I still loved Joseph dearly. I wanted to help. People from places like this have a deeply rooted mistrust in the rich, passed on for generations. In her eyes, I had become one of them.
So that's all you know about the whole affair?
Are you implying that there's more to know?
Yes.
I left the diagnosis to the professionals. Mrs. Rain accepted the health care, but asked me to stay out of everything else. So I did.
I see. What can you tell me about your friendship with Grandpa?
Joseph was the best friend I ever had. We grew up together, married our high school sweethearts together, went to war together. I can't even begin to count the number of times he's saved my life. I repaid the favor once or twice, but he came up ahead, no doubt.
So, when did you two lose touch? I heard that something happened between you and him.
Lemon break.
What was it?
The truth is, Brian Rain happened. Sharon Evans happened.
My parents?
Yes. They ruined everything.
Okay.
Vile, destructive behavior. I couldn't have that around my daughter or my newborn grandson. Joseph was naive. He believed that anyone could be helped, that anyone could be reasoned with, given a chance.
Yeah, Senator.
He was just too good, bless him. He should have been harder on Brian, more strict.
I guess I can say I agree with him about the tough love, so let's give that a go here.
I wouldn't mind teaching my old man some manners myself, wherever he is.
Yes, of course. You must understand this better than anyone. People like your father simply cannot grasp how far their bad influence spreads. So our family started drifting apart. Eventually, my company grew much too large for this little town. We moved on. Not long after that, your grandfather ended up in that wheelchair. That marked the end of our friendship. For obvious reasons.
Okay.
You bought a number of paintings by Lily Myers. Why?
I'm known to dabble in art from time to time. Martha, my wife at the time, was enamored with the paintings. I believe she first saw them at the high school which the Myers girl attended. Anyway, after the poor girl killed herself, I bought the paintings speculatively. When a young artist with any talent to speak of commits suicide, it can be a wet dream of certain connoisseurs. Shortly after procuring the art, I had it valued by an expert who determined that the value was 3 times the amount I bought it for. Today, I'm sure I would have made my money back tenfold or more if it wasn't for the art theft.
What art theft?
There was a burglary at the mansion I used to own here in town. It was all over the local news at the time.
Well, shit.
Eloquently put.
Okay.
Do you recognize the call sign Cocky?
Would be strange if I didn't, since I was the one who coined it. It belongs to a fellow named Jimmy Cochran. He was a coward, really. The nickname is somewhat of a bad joke.
Perfect. Thanks. Tell me about Jimmy Cochran. Is he still alive?
In a literal sense. He's been held in a mental institution for years.
Why?
Let me guess. Since 81?
Either 82 or 83. I'm fairly certain it was early 83.
Do you remember the name of the institution?
Something starting with an E. Emerson, Everett, or similar.
Ingstrom? Ingstrom Psychiatric Hospital?
Yes, that's the one. You know the place, Kathy.
A little bit too well.
I do. My mother is in there. Sharon Evans? I had her committed about a year ago.
I see. It must have taken a lot of courage to do that, Kathy. Mothers have a lot of power over us. More than most of us care to admit.
I guess so. Do you know why Jimmy ended up in there?
Some obsessive-compulsive syndrome. He became fixated with circles and started hurting himself, trying to scratch the circles out of his head.
What?
Creepy. I wonder what set him off. I think I'll check the place out tomorrow. Too late to head back to the city now. Can you tell me about the art theft?
Well, somebody broke in, stole the paintings, and got out. Fairly clumsy job. Lots of broken windows. The strangest thing was that I had a Monet, a Rembrandt, and 2 paintings by Picasso, untouched. But every single painting by an unknown local artist, gone.
That can't be a coincidence.
Agreed. Somebody wanted those paintings badly.
I assume there was an investigation.
Yes, Sheriff Truman came by with his deputy a few hours later.
Where is this
They
Truman
didn't
guy?
have much luck. They found a few hairs, which turned out to be from Ruffles, the family dog.
Some stunning police work right there.
Indeed. There was a single witness, though, who said he could make out multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime, but nothing more than that.
So, I take it the case was closed?
Yes. I honestly didn't care much one way or the other, given the fact that my most expensive pieces were safe and sound.
I think I'll have a chat with the sheriff about the matter, if that's okay with you.
Certainly. I'll call ahead and instruct him to give you everything you need.
Hey!
Thanks, Charles.
Anytime. But I'm curious. What's your interest in the paintings?
I've learned that my grandfather went to Sue and asked to see them, right before he had his injury.
Is that so? Strange.
What can you tell
Don't
me
tell me
about
that's
the
just
Church
another
of the
plain
Holy
church.
Trinity?
They seem like any other
I knew
church
it.
to me. But then again, I'm not their usual clientele. Weddings, baptisms, and funerals are just about what I can muster. And I always leave early.
Do you recognize this, Charles?
Of course. Your grandfather, me, Jimmy Cochran. Taken shortly before we went to the war.
You guys look like you just won the lottery or something.
Indeed. We were mere children, with no concept of what we were getting into.
Okay.
I don't need... Do you know what this key opens?
You must be truly desperate if you ask random people a question like that.
Okay, mate.
I don't... What do you see in this picture, Charles?
Fireflies would be my best guess. They can grow terribly large around these parts.
Excuse me?
Do you know what this is?
A flower. Why don't you consult a botanist instead of bothering me with this nonsense?
Sorry, Charles. The heck?
I don't need... He's being cooperative at the moment. I shouldn't push my luck. Thanks, Charles. That's all I need for now.
You're welcome, Kathy. Come back anytime.
A private phone. Wade must get special privileges here. Just some boring landscape paintings. Looks like Wade brought some of his old tombs with him.
The leverage, man, that he has.
Just some boring... I'd rather not. He'd crush me like a twig.
Gosh dang. Is she still gone? Wait, what was his name again? It was Goober. Gosh dang it. Ah! Fine. That poor dope that I taste, man. Okay. I think we'll end the stream with the sheriff, but let's see what happens. Hey, Lenny. Bye, Lenny.
Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
Nope.
Much.
Do you know anything about
Help.
the art theft in the Wade estate?
Yes, Mr. Wade phoned ahead about that. Lenny,
Yes, boss.
get the report from the burglary in the Wade estate back in '86.
On it, boss. There you go, Kathy.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, what? Gosh dang it. To arrive at the scene, the windows can be observed, the estate and the surrounding premises reveals no trace of the perpetrators. A single witness identified as Franklin Goldfarb reports seeing multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime. Charles Wade arrives in Congo Springs to make an official statement. After examining the house, he reports that paintings with an exit value of $15,000 have been stolen. The art in question has not yet popped up in any circles that are known to deal with the stolen goods. Terminate investigation due to lack of leads. Yikes, man.
I gotta find this Goldfarb guy. Maybe he knows more about the burglary.
I guess to Grandma's house we go. That's the only place I know that has a bloody phone book.
No Goldfarb in here. Maybe he moved? I should ask around and see if anyone knows him.
Oh. Well, I'm here at Grandma's house. Might as well ask her first. I need to see about the game.
Oh, hello, dear. Glad to see you again so soon.
Hi, Grandma. I just thought I'd drop by.
Sure, hon. Stay as long as you'd like.
Okay. Full on convo, Granny.
Looks like the ring. Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
Okay. So,
Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Oh, that poor man. He
excuse
used to be an
me?
upstanding citizen, you know. Now he's constantly drinking and keeps babbling on about that imaginary acting career of his.
Sad thing.
wait.
Find him?
He's homeless, dear. Lost his job a few years ago and never
Goober?
got back on his feet.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Thanks, Grandma. Looks like I'm gonna have a chat with Goober. Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is? He was a friend of Grandpa's.
I believe he teaches at the flight school these days.
Dude.
I don't think so, at least not anymore. I was told he was placed in a mental facility.
Alright, I lowered again. Hopefully
He
that
always struck
helps with
me as
sensitivity.
Maybe get nervous and on edge, but not crazy.
There's more. I found out that Jimmy asked Grandpa for help not long before Grandpa ended up in that wheelchair. Jimmy sounded really desperate. I'm sure what happened to Grandpa that night had something to do with his cry for help.
You should go find the man then. Surely he must know something.
That's the plan.
Hello?
I just wondered if there's anything else you think I should know about him.
Not really. We haven't stayed in touch since Joseph was injured. I know that he had a wife, Agatha,
Okay.
and a son, James. Agatha passed away from cancer years ago, but
Oh,
as far as
man.
I know, James still lives in the city with his family.
Okay, thanks, Grandma.
Okay. Hold on.
Do you know who Jimmy...
I believe he teaches at the
I don't think so, at least not anymore. I was told he was placed in a mental facility.
Really?
Dang, man.
He always struck me as a kind man, maybe a bit nervous and...
There's more. I found out that Jimmy asked Grandpa for help not long before Grandpa ended up in that wheelchair. Jimmy sounded really desperate. I'm sure what happened to Grandpa that night had something to do with his cry for help.
You should go find the man then. Surely he must know something.
That's the plan.
Not really. We haven't... I know that...
Okay.
Okay. I
I
was
don't see a reason
going
to
to be
ask her
sure I
about
wasn't
that.
missing anything. What?
I don't see a reason.
What?
Bye, Grandma. I'll be back.
So long.
Bum. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, so I have to go back to where would this dork be? Oh, I know his name now, so I can look him up in the computer.
I need a word, Miss Jimenez.
Wait, how do you know my name?
It's written on that board behind you, genius.
You have the eyesight of a bald eagle or something?
What can I say? I'm a freak of nature. What happened to Goober, anyway?
Who?
The guy who had the seizure?
Oh, he ran off somewhere. Kept babbling about a religious near-death experience.
Excuse me?
Okay, thanks.
So we might find him at the church? Is that what I'm getting at here? Is that where we're at now? Alright, I guess it's off to the church. Oh, there he is! There's the boy!
Hello, Father.
Greetings, my child. I'm glad you decided to come here.
Yeah, but just so you know, I'm not here to join your church or anything.
Oh, I would never assume that.
Good. So, with that out of the way, I have some questions.
Anything you need. I'm Isaac Price.
Price.
Kathy Rain, but I'm guessing you figured that out already.
I did. Rumors spread quickly around here. So how can I be of service?
Oh, okay.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in 81?
It was the work of the devil, I'll say that much. Joseph was a kind man. He did not deserve such a fate. You heard my speech at the funeral, Kathy. I meant every word. He was a great man who did much good for this community.
Did you know him personally?
In a way, he and my father did charity work together. Joseph was around a lot when I was young. They collaborated on a few different projects for the homeless and for the troubled youth, among other things.
So my grandfather was a member of the church?
I wouldn't say that, no. He was a friend of the church, but he wasn't a religious man. He believed only in philanthropy. That being said, Joseph was the person who convinced me to become a priest.
Really?
Oh yes, I was a teenager back then, full of rebellion, every fiber of my being wanting to distance myself from my father. Joseph made me realize my sinful pride, and showed me how I should follow my heart, regardless of what others might think. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Okay.
Does the name Lily Myers mean anything to you?
It does. I was a substitute teacher in her high school for some time before I was ordained.
Really? Did you know her personally?
We weren't close. I only knew her as much as a teacher would know any student.
Alright, so how did she seem toward the end?
For one, she started skipping school a lot, and when she did show up, she was absent-minded and moody. She always looked depressed and hunched down like she had a whole world on her shoulders.
Any idea of what caused this change?
Not a clue. All I know is that when she returned from that last summer break, she was a whole different person.
Huh.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
I don't recognize that name, no.
Do you know anything about an art theft at the Wade Estate in the 80s?
I have just a vague memory of reading about it in the paper.
Care to tell me the history of the church?
I'd be happy to. The story is a fascinating one. This church was founded by my father, William T. Price, in the 70s. Back then, he made his living as a traveling salesman and was driving through this area as he'd done so many times before. However, this day was different. My father held dark thoughts in his mind. He was angry, thinking of evil deeds, even considering swerving off the road into a rock and ending it all. Then suddenly, divine intervention. 3 bright lights appeared. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the sign of God. This epiphany was the moment my father had been waiting for. He sold all of his belongings and took me and my brother to live with him here in Conwell Springs. Soon thereafter, he built this church and started gathering followers. They began to refer to him as Father Bill.
I take it that window up there resembles what he saw when he had this epiphany?
Indeed. The stained glass window depicts the Holy Trinity as witnessed by my father.
Do you know exactly when or where this event took place?
Why do you ask?
Oh, just curious. It's a captivating story.
Well, it was in the spring of 1971. My father never told anyone where.
Okay, so what happened then?
People flocked to Father Bill. He started teaching, writing scripture. The church flourished and continued to grow all the way up until his sudden death in 1983. That's when I stepped in to take leadership of the church.
I take it that the church started declining after the death of Father Bill?
Yes, naturally so. With such a magnetic personality, he was irreplaceable. But I assure you the church is still very much thriving.
Looks kind of empty to me.
It's not really our peak hours.
What's up with you handing out pamphlets at funerals then? Trying to reel people in at a weak moment?
I'm going to assume you meant no disrespect, child. I'm simply providing divine guidance when it's needed the most.
That's a way to look at it.
Do you know who Franklin Goldfarb is?
I'm afraid not, my child.
He's right there.
I could, but I think I have more to gain from a subtle strategy. I'll keep it to myself for now, until I know more about this church. Father, do you know anything about this flower?
No, my child. Nothing at all.
The way he says that,
I don't need it.
it's kind of
Do you
sketch.
recognize the men in this picture, Isaac?
Only your grandfather, and that's just because I was given a similar picture for the service the other day.
We were given a similar picture.
Do you know
of
what this
service
key
the
opens?
other day. Why would you?
I'm afraid not, my child.
Yeah, I think with Charles on that.
I don't.
You're asking. Oh wait, hold on.
I don't. I sincerely doubt it will come to that.
I don't know, man. Acting pretty
That's
sus.
all I need for now, Father.
May the Lord shine his light on you.
Goober.
Hello again, Goober.
You again? Are you stalking me, girl? You pop up everywhere I go. I'll try to tone down the charm, but I can't promise anything.
Huh.
Mate.
Yeah, you're quite the charmer.
I know. I just said that, man.
Listen, I feel kind of bad about the electrocution.
Oh, that's what it was. What a cherry on top of my stellar performance.
You lost it, man.
Yeah, it was pretty convincing.
So what brings you to the house of God? Come to repent?
I'm afraid that ship has long since sailed, buddy. I had a few things I wanted to ask you about, though.
Shoot, Missy.
I don't need to ask. I should probably confront him directly about him being a witness. Your real name is Franklin Goldfarb, right?
Oh, nobody calls me that.
Regardless, I know for a fact that you were a witness to a burglary a few years back at the Wade Estate.
Yeah, what about it?
Why don't you tell me what you saw exactly?
I heard the alarm go off, glass breaking, then I saw 3 guys running away, carrying a bunch of stuff.
What did they look like?
It was dark. I don't know. They were definitely three big, bulky guys.
They what?
Oh, nothing. That's it. Didn't see anything else.
Buddy, what?
Bullshit. Spit it out.
Well, one of those guys dropped his ring when running away. I sort of bonded.
A ring? What kind of ring?
Platinum with an inscription. 2 letters. B something. Man, I don't remember. My photographic memory stopped working in 1979.
Which pawn shop was that?
Pete's Pawning and Plumbing. Closed down a long time ago, though. Owner left town. There's a coffee shop back there.
Too bad. Guess that's a dead end. Thanks anyway.
You
Didn't
sell.
I see 2 letters fitting that description recently? Not on a building. It was something small. Did the inscription on the ring look anything like this?
My gosh.
Actually, exactly like that.
Any idea what BH stands for?
Beehive? Bet high? Big head?
Wait.
Okay, that's all for now.
See ya!
I have a vague memory of seeing those letters somewhere recently. Hello, Isaac.
I'm all here.
Do you know what BH means? It's inscribed on this lighter.
I'm sorry, but no.
That's all I need for now, Father.
May the Lord shine his light on you.
BH.